Hello, guys! Today I'm going to tell a story about the sound between the notes. Every evening at exactly 6:40 p.m., the old man sat on the same wooden bench near the river. He always arrived early, brushed invisible dust from his coat, and waited as if someone important might join him. But no one ever did. People passed by without noticing him. Students with headphones, couples holding hands, cyclists rushing home. To them he was just another quiet figure in a city full of quiet figures. Except for one thing, he always carried a violin. The violin case was worn and scratched, the kind that had traveled many years and many places. Yet the instrument inside was treated with deep care. He never played loudly, never for money, never for attention. He played as if he was speaking to someone who already understood. One evening, a girl stopped. She was about 20, maybe younger, with a backpack hanging loosely from one shoulder. She had been walking fast, her face tired, her mind clearly somewhere else, but then she heard it, the sound. It wasn't the melody that caught her. It was a silence between the notes. She stood still, listening. The old man noticed her only when he finished playing. He lowered the violin and looked at her with gentle surprise. "You don't have to stay," he said kindly. "I'm almost done." "I want to stay," she replied. "It sounds different." He smiled. "Different how?" She searched for words, like it's not trying to impress anyone. "That's because it isn't," he said. She sat on the other end of the bench. For a moment, neither spoke. The river moved slowly beside them, carrying reflections of the city lights. "Why do you play here every day?" she asked. The old man didn't answer immediately. He opened the violin case again, adjusted the strings carefully, and then said, "I'm waiting." "For what?" "For someone who remembers." She frowned slightly. "Remembers what?" "Me," he said softly. "Or maybe us." She didn't know what to say, so she stayed quiet. He began to play again, and this time the melody felt heavier. Sad but not hopeless, like a letter written long ago and finally read. When he finished, the girl realized her eyes were wet. "That song," she said. "It feels like losing something." He nodded, and loving it anyway. They sat there for weeks after that. Not every day, not always talking. Sometimes she listened. Sometimes he played. Sometimes they simply watched the river. She never asked about his past, and he never asked about her future. One evening she arrived late. The bench was empty, the river was there, the city lights were there, but the violin was gone. For days she returned at 6:40 Each time she told herself it was silly to accept him. People disappear, cities move on, but the bench remained empty. Until one evening she noticed something resting beneath it, a violin case. Her hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was a violin and a folded piece of paper. She unfolded the note. If you are reading this, then you remembered me. That's enough. She sat down slowly, holding the violin. She had never played before, didn't know where to place her fingers or how to hold the bow properly, but she tried. The sound was rough, uneven, almost wrong, yet she kept going. People passed by without noticing her. Students with headphones, couples holding hands, cyclists rushing home, but somewhere between the notes something familiar lived on, and for the first time the bench was no longer waiting.